Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and it's a very exciting day if you're a nerd. And if you're watching this video, you're probably a nerd. So basically, Riot has released a lot more information about the items the item changes they're going to make for next season. So I'm going to go through um, basically all of this information. I've already done some work, like putting them into my sheet that I have that like calculates stuff for items. And the reason why I use this, I've been using this for like 4 years, 5 years, is because it helps identify items that are strong before they're popular, and that's important in my opinion. So let's just get right into it, and we'll kind of uh, approach different items in different ways. But for the most part, we're gonna look at like the clumps of mythics first. So first, we want Gale Force. We want Kraken Slayer. Oh. Hmm. Gale Force. Kraken Slayer. And Immortal Shield Bow. So a lot of this video isn't meant to tell you what's good and what's bad. It's an exploration of the new information. So we're just going to try to compare these items as best we can and think about how some of these changes are going to impact League of Legends. So what else will I need? Trinity Force. Alright. So first up, we have Gale Force, Immortal Shield Bow, and Kraken Slayer. So these are three marksman mythics. They're going to be necessarily related to one another when they hit the live servers. So Gale Force gives 55 AD, Immortal Shield Bow 50, Kraken Slayer 60. They all give the same amount of crit. They give slightly different amounts of attack speed, and Immortal Shield Bow gives 12% lifesteal. So basically, the options, the choice that you're making when you're picking these items is mostly based off of the active and mythic passives. So we'll take those into consideration too. So Zephyr Strike, dash in target direction, firing 3 missiles at the lowest health enemy near your destination. Deals a total of 105 to 300 magic damage, increased against low health targets by up to 50% against targets at 30% health. This is going to be very popular because this dash is going to help kite for yourself. So I expect this to be very popular. Grants all other legendary items 3% move speed. So this is pretty cool because this is going to give you like between 3 to 15% additional movement speed, depending on how many other items you have how many other legendary items you have in your inventory. You'll typically keep boots, but this could make you not use boots sometimes. So that is one thing to take into consideration. Kraken Slayer. Every third attack is enhanced, dealing an additional 80 to 120. Grants all other legendary items 10% attack speed. And then we have Immortal Shield Bow. This is basically the other lifeline that we have. So when taking damage that would reduce you below 30%, gain a shield, and you also get lifesteal. And then the Mythic Passive grants all other legendary items plus 8 armor and plus 8 magic resistance. So another thing that we're going to have to do is some math on things, and this will be just my video tab. So let's do Mythic Passives. And we're also going to do some calculating about the strength of these different items. So let's just look at that real quick. So Gale Force, the base value is 3,225, so you're not getting the full value. minus 175, 95%. So this number isn't right, the ceiling value, because obviously it depends on how much gold you can say that these actives are worth and the passive is worth. So 3% movement speed. Let's see, movement speed. Percentage movement speed is worth percent move speed. I have that in my sheet already. So this is something that I've never really done before in terms of looking at, like, if you intentionally manipulated the values of items, like how, like, let's say these items are based off of the basic items that allow you to get this type of statistic, but it's like, what happens if attack damage, for example, what if attack damage isn't really worth 35 gold just because that's how you base it off of the item? Like, what if it has a greater value or a lesser value? But that's more theoretical. I'm not going to get into that today. So 3% movement speed, so equals 3 times 39.5, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, so it's equals, whoa, 3% move speed is equal to that, and then equals that times that, and then we go sideways. So the additional value of the movement speed, just based off of the passive, it can be up to 592.5 if you sell your boots and have a 5th legendary item. So this is basically telling me that it's not going to be the most powerful out of these. But let's keep going. So Gale Force, that's the movement speed. It's going to be almost impossible to put an actual number on Zephyr Strike because it fluctuates so greatly depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So let's just move on. Attack speed. So attack speed is worth, every point of attack speed is worth 25. So that means this is worth 250. So equals that F4 times percent attack speed. So already we see that there's a difference between the gold value of the item's base statistics, and this is just an opinion of mine, but I think that base stats are in general more valuable than like the other kind of active effects and stuff like that, because it's easier to play around base stats than it is to play around actives. It's more consistent. Like the ceiling of this Zephyr Strike might be higher, but right now we're trying to compare apples to apples. So 8 armor and 8 move speed. So we have 160. Uh, 160 and 140. So 300. So that's 300 equals 300 times that. All right, so this is the armor and MR. Insert. And the reason why I'm recording this instead of like doing all this off the video is because I think it's important and it's interesting for some people to like go through the process of watching someone like research these kinds of things. It might inspire you to do it yourself. It might give you a new way of looking at League of Legends, and that's always good. So Gale Force, Kraken Slayer, and Immortal Shield Bow. So just based off of these numbers, and like I said, it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish when you're picking these items. But you can take these numbers and basically blend them into the item calculator and see where you're at. So for Gale Force, we had base value is 95%. Kraken Slayer is 104%, and then Immortal Shield Bow is 99%. So this will be popular because of the dash, but I think that these two items are the better stat check items, which are easier to play around, more consistent. So I think the additional attack speed from this item is going to be great. I think Kraken Slayer will end up being the most popular out of these three. I could be wrong, but I have a pretty good track record with items. And just because something's better doesn't mean it's going to be popular. So that's always a caveat I have to throw in there. So let's go to the next clump. We have Sunfire Aegis, Frostfire Gauntlet, and Berserker suit. Oh, and actually, yeah, so I'm going to need to change something else in here as well. So let's do this. Basically, when they released these items, they changed CDR and ability haste, I think. So it's going to be really difficult to know. It's going to be impossible to know if cooldown reduction and ability haste are going to be equal the same way in my calculator. So I kind of have them all as question marks right now, which sucks. It sucks because it just breaks the calculator. So let's see. We'll try it with Sunfire Aegis and see how much it fluctuates. 15. Aha. Yeah, because there's a lot of new items, so you gotta switch it up. Alright, so this is what I'm looking for. So Sunfire Aegis against Sunfire Cape. Alright. So Sunfire Aegis and Sunfire Cape, I plugged in 15, and the number stays basically the same. So I think that it's going to be close enough where I can switch all those numbers, but I needed to check that. So let's go into Sunfire Cape. And I'm just checking to see if it's the same 20 to 40. Yeah, so they're changing multiple things about this. The cost is going to change. The base efficiency is staying roughly the same, which is kind of important. I think that it's a better item overall. I guess I can't really make that a part of this video too, because I want to do something that's exhaustive, but I can't until I have more information. So let's just go back to the passive stuff we were doing. So Sunfire Aegis. At max stacks, your basic attacks explode around you, burning nearby enemies for your immolate damage for 3 seconds. This is going to be extremely powerful. This will be a very popular tank item against team compositions with multiple types of damage, which most team compositions have that. And Sunfire is just something that's popular anyways because it feels good. Ability haste is 5. So let's do this. Sunfire Aegis. Ability haste 5. Mythic Passive. Grants all other legendary items 100 health and 7.5% size. So 500 HP. Or I guess I should 100 HP, 7.5% size. It's funny like that they're including size, because size it does impact the game, when you're trying to block skill shots, but it's not always clear whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's generally a good thing because you're doing your job if you're eating poke from the enemy team, but it could be theoretically a negative in like fringe circumstances. 5% tenacity and slow resist. So for that, we're going to need to look at Merc Treads. Tenacity reduces by a lot. I guess it's not the same exact thing. 5% tenacity. Did they change how this read? Boost enchantment removed from the game is now removed. Tenacity and slow resist. Do I have a gold value for that? I do not. So the other way to try to figure this out would be slow resist. It's not even worth it really. Berserker's suit. So that's going to be an annoying one to kind of try to wrap my head around. So 5 ability haste. So it's going to be 5 ability haste is equal to CDR. So it's equals that times that equals ethics. So it's really worth 533 additional ability power. At the end of the day, it's going to be 15 plus 15 plus 20. So you can get you can almost just have one item and you're going to get the CDR cap, which is pretty good. So HP, we'll just do 500 HP equals that times that. Wait, what? QC R2? Oh, I messed that up. That times that equals that. That can't be right. C7. Oh, this should be 100. Alright, so the HP is probably going to be worth more than the CDR, and there's other ways to get CDR. There's also other ways to get health, though. But that's interesting. Frostfire Gauntlet. So they both have Immolate. They both have Immolate, and they're the exact same thing. Wait, they're not the exact same thing. Damaging enemy champions or monsters increases stacks. Okay, so this is the second part. So then it's Frostfire. Attacks create a frost field, so it's just the same as before. So it's the slow field versus maybe more damage. Everything else is close. This has more armor. That's interesting. So this is the kind of thing where I'm going to have to probably do separate things for each one of these. That's kind of annoying. Let's look at... I'm going to have to turn my air conditioner on too. Alright, so let's just focus on the Mythic Passives. We'll get through all those first. It's a little rainy outside today. Let's go live. Alright, so we've gotten through those. Dusk Blade. Dusk Blade. %, ability haste. Eclipse. 5% armor pen. Armor pen is not something I think I'm going to be able to do because there's no flat value for it. Like, because it's not a basic equation. It's like it depends on the enemy. So it's your enemy's armor value times whatever your armor pen value is, and it eliminates that much armor. So that's the way that I look at it, is the elimination of armor. So you would do negative. That negative value. Ugh. Prowler's Claw. Lethality. 6 lethality. So 5% ability haste. That's exactly that. And we'll paste values. 5% armor pen. Like I said, that's going to be a no for me, dog. And then Prowler's Claw. We have the lethality, so it's equals that times 6 equals that times that. Wait. That should be there. Alright. So these two are very similar. Already we can see that, but people feel different about lethality and CDR depending on which champion they're playing. So let's compare them once again. So actually, let's do this. So I think this is going to be the best out of this. Or the most popular. I think these two are going to be the more popular ones, and it's tough to figure out which one's going to be more popular. Duskblade Drakthar. Attacking an enemy champion deals 50 to 150. Slows them by 99% when a champion... Reset this cooldown and gain invisibility for 1.5 seconds. What? That is insane. When a champion you have damaged within the last 3 seconds is killed, reset this cooldown, meaning this, and gain invisibility. This is going to be a broken item. Wow. This is for 80 assassins. Hitting a champion with 2 separate attacks or abilities within 1.5 seconds deals bonus physical damage equal to 16% of their maximum health and grants you 30% movement speed and a 150 shield that fluctuates for 2 seconds. Grants all other legendary items plus 5% armor pen. Man. With 2 separate attacks or abilities. That's not very difficult at all. Bonus damage equal to 16% of their maximum health. That is broken. Both of these seem broken. Prowler's Claw. Dash through target enemy, dealing damage and reducing their armor by 30%. Grants all other legendary items plus 6 lethality. These all seem very good. And these are the kinds of items that, like, not only do they sound good, they feel good. And a lot of players already play Assassins. So I expect them to be very popular. That seems inevitable. That all 3 of those are going to be It's going to come down to, like, which playstyle do you prefer. The fact that you can go invisible for 1.5 seconds seems ridiculous. But maybe it's not as good as it sounds. And then this is also pretty insane. Like, I wonder how many times you can get off Moonstrike in one team fight. Prowler's Claw, AP Mythics, Leandry's Anguish, Luden's Tempest. You don't deserve to be green yet. And Ever Frost. Alright, so let's see. Leandry's Anguish, 3,400 gold, 80 ability power. Your spells cause... Okay, so it's still the burn. Grants 5% ability haste. Ability haste is extremely popular on these new items. So we're just going to paste that value every time. Grants 5 magic pen. 5 magic pen. 5. Magic penetration is worth 31.1 repeating. Equals that. That equals times that. So CDR versus that magic penetration is going to be an interesting thing that people kind of ask themselves, like which one is actually better. Magic pen is extremely popular. I think this will probably end up being a little more popular than Leandry's. It makes sense because Luden's was more popular than Leandry's to begin with. Everfrost slows enemies, so I guess this is similar to Rylai's. Deal 100 damage in a cone, slowing enemies by 65% for 1.5 seconds. Enemies at the center of the cone are rooted instead. Grants all other legendary items plus 15 AP. Alright, so this is the kind of thing where it might not seem as flashy at first because it is just slowing, but 15 ability power is very important. Times that. Yeah, so this is going to need to be tuned down, I think. The 80 AP is the same. 600 mana is the same. Leandry gives a lot more ability haste up front. I feel like you're going to go over the... Are they taking away the limit on CDR? I'm not sure. So yeah, just from a stat check perspective, I think that Everfrost is going to be the best stat check. It's going to scale the best. That's the way to say it. Everfrost will scale the best. So I guess you can try to justify, like, is it better to have the magic pen in the early game or the additional ability power in the late game? And it'll be interesting to see how all of these items interact with the other changes they made to items. But let's just keep going. AP Mythics, Hextech, Rocket, Belt. So right now, like I said, we're only focused on right now we're just focused on the Mythic Passives. And the other thing to consider is that they all have a scaling component, but most games are decided once you have most games are decided before one item is even finished in solo queue. But in professional League of Legends, it's really closer to the 20-minute mark, between 20 to 30 minutes, where you have between 2 to 3 completed items. So I guess the sweet spot is going to be right here. No fill. +5 magic pen. Percentage magic pen. You can only have one legendary item, right? Or mythic item. I think that's what they said. Let's see. Percent magic pen. And then we have ability haste. Okay, so for percent magic penetration, this is similar to the percent armor pen, so we'll have to have a separate video thinking about that. Night Harvester, Abyssal Mask, Trinity Force, Gore Drinker, and Stride Breaker. This one's really good. Stride Breaker, percent move speed. So this one is the same as this one. %15% attack speed. Kraken Slayer. Kraken Slayer was 10. That's a lot of attack speed. So it's 15 equals 15 times 25. So Trinity Force looks crazy. Trinity Force is going to have Trinity Force PB. So they've taken out some of the base statistics on this, but you're getting the phage proc, you're getting the Spellblade, and then you're getting this, which is ridiculous. So it should make up for it easily. You only have to make up 420 gold for it to break even, and that's easily worth it. So that's fine. Gore Drinker, 3 ability haste, so it's equals. So it's 80 equals 5 times that. So So these are very good items. Just trying to read them all again real quick to see if I'm missing something. Because, like, Stridebreaker, Divine Devourer. Because I would expect these items to be very similar in terms of their in terms of their like item efficiency. Like they're probably going to be right around 100, and then in order to get past the 100 threshold, they have to have some kind of conditional aspect to it. So let's see. Divine Devourer. So the HP is like this. So we'll take that. 100 HP per stack. Actually, let's put on some music. So all of this music is from Matt Churn. Just some background background music, not background information. If this music is giving you information, let me know. That would be scary. Enchanter Mythics. Shirelia's Battle Song. Mythic Passive. 3% move speed. So that's the same as that. Locket. Locket of the Iron Solari. 2 armor and 2 magic. So it's 40 plus 36, 76. Right? So this is going to be weaker probably than most of the other ones. Increase the iron ore. So the fact that you get that, it's really not that good. This is the scaling component of the item, or one of the scaling components of the item. Moonstone Renewer. Like, they did a lot better job with Immortal Shield Bow. Yeah, plus 8. Compared to Immortal Shield Bow. So where are we at now? Moonstone Renewer, 5 ability haste. We've done that like 100 times. 5 ability haste. And that's another thing where people will always say like it feels better than the. It feels better than the item efficiency suggests. And then we're done with the mythic items, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count 22, and there are 22 new items. So let's do this. Yeah, so 600, that seems really good, but I think Kraken Slayer is just better because it gives you the attack speed. It's like for who is buying it, it's probably better. Like you might want to get Immortal Shield Bow on champions where you would have gotten Death's Dance previously. Frostfire Gauntlet, Sunfire, both really good items. Duskblade of Jakthar, Eclipse, and Prowler's Claw. All 3 of those are amazing items. Luden's Tempest is good. I think Everfrost is the best scaling option. So I think that this item will probably be undervalued at the beginning, similar to the hose item that people didn't like and then they loved it. So that's basically it. Mythic Passives. So let's go through the new legendary items. The Collector. The Collector. So the Collector is 45 AD, 20% crit, 18 lethality. If you deal damage that would leave an enemy below 5% health, kill them. Kills grant you an additional 25 gold. The Collector is going to be one of the most popular items in the game because of this. It's just going to be. Whether or not it's actually good, there will be a good argument over whether or not it's actually good. But people will be attracted to that execute instantly. It's like a baby version of Elder Dragon. So like I said, 93% efficient. So you're losing this. So Contract Killer needs to be worth 220 gold. So if every time this says kills grant you an additional 25 gold, does that mean any kill or only kills that are attached to here? That's another important question. This could be game breaking. Like, if the value of that might be exponentially higher just because the fringe kills that you may or may not get, now you get them. So that's very interesting, in my opinion. If you deal damage. Pretty crazy. Navori Quickblade. 60 AD, 20 crit chance, 30 ability haste. Navori Quickblade. So let's switch that. We're going to just throw in 30. And this is interesting because it depends on... It'll change which mythic item you want, because you won't always need that additional cooldown reduction. But I'm not sure if they're completely changing cooldown reduction. I think they were talking about that, but I don't remember 100% if I'm being honest. Your critical strikes with attacks reduce your non-ultimate ability cooldowns by 20% of their remaining cooldown. So this is a very interesting item once you have a 100% crit chance. So this might be... It's a high roll item. 3,400. Let's see what it looks like in the calculator. Navori's Quickblade. 109%. Wow. That's really good. But let's keep moving. Force of Nature. Taking ability damage grants you 6 move speed and 4 magic resist for 5 seconds. So let's see. Force of Nature. Because like I said, this is basically just a math equation. So let's take a look at this closer. Force of Nature. Negative 700 in base efficiency. What? Negative 700 base efficiency. Taking ability damage. So it's not even a conditional that you're in control over, which is never a good thing in my opinion. 6 move speed. So I guess it's flat move speed. So 6 times 12, 72. 72. Plus 4 magic resist times 18 is 70. 72. Not 72. It is 72. So this item is bad. One stack per unique ability. This item is horrible. So we'll have to keep a track of that kind of stuff. Where's my book? Got a bunch of shit in front of me. Ooh. Gotta stay hydrated. Delicioso. Alright, so Force of Nature is trash. Force of Nature is trash. Serpent's Fang. 60 attack damage. Serpent's Fang. 89%, so it's 295. This is another bad item. You deal 300% additional damage to shields. So you'll eliminate shields quickly, but once those shields are gone, you're losing value, so another bad item. Like you would need to have such a huge shield for that to be worth it. Horizon Focus. Horizon Focus. Oh. Damaging a champion with an ability at over 850 range or immobilizing them. Reveals the target. So what's the value of revealing a target? Increases your damage dealt to them by 15% for 6 seconds. So Horizon Focus, I think, will most likely not... And it increases your damage, so not even your teammates' damage. That seems like it's going to be a bad item. Damaging a champion with an ability. This is your damage. 3,000. So, like, this is closer to what it should be valued. So, like, until this number comes down, it's just going to feel much weaker than everything else. Because, like, 100 ability power is nice, but you're missing out on so many more things. So another way that you could buff this is by giving it health or movement speed or mana. That would be interesting. But right now it seems like a bad item. Cosmic Drive. What? Where's Cosmic Drive? Did I not do Cosmic Drive? Cosmic Drive, it's right there. Oh, spreadsheet, you silly. Cosmic Drive, make that a 30. And let's see what we got. 362. Dealing damage with abilities grants 10 move speed for 4 seconds plus a qualifier. Or a condition, sorry. Cosmic Drive. 362 equals 10 times that is 120, so then it's 240. So it's another bad item. So the cost should come down. Demonic Embrace. Demonic Embrace. 193. Alright, so dealing ability damage to a champion causes them to take 2% of their maximum health. So this, you gain 20 armor and magic as well. This item is extremely broken. This item is out of control. And the reason is because of the additional armor and magic resist. Like, I guess you could make the argument that if you're the one in the aggressive position and the other player is running away from you, it's not as good. It just has to be a broken item, though. You gain 20 armor and magic resist while enemies are afflicted. So 20 MR equals 20 equals 20 times that plus 20 times that is equal to 760. Plus 5 for each additional champion affected. So I mean, oh my god, that's insane. So this could double. So it's 1760 with one champion affected, and then equals 5 equals 100 plus, no, equals 5, oh yeah, equals 100 times, equals 100 plus 92. So every champion that it affects, wait. So the first one is like hitting 4 champions. 20 armor and magic resist while enemies are afflicted. We need 20 armor. 20 times D2 plus 20 times E2. So that's right. And then it's equals 5 times 18, 190. So equals 760 plus 190 times that. Because you can only get up to this point. So that's very interesting. This is the kind of stuff that we look for. So at max efficiency, it's 1,330. 1,330. 1,330. Passives. Divided by 3,000. So it's 130% efficient. That's really good. And that's before the damage is even taken into consideration. So that's a really good one. Cyrilda's Grudge. Cyrilda's Grudge. So this has ability haste, so we gotta switch that. 20 ability haste. So the armor penetration value needs to switch. Alright, so we'll try to figure it out right now. Grudge. 717. So the armor removed needs to be worth more than 720 gold. Equals 720 divided by 20. So it needs to remove 36 armor. To remove 36 armor. And it is 36 divided by 23. So enemy target needs 120 armor to make the item break even. I had a video a long time ago about how much armor tanks generally have. So this isn't a bad item, but it's a conditional item. So this is like the other team will have to meet certain conditions for the item purchase to make sense. Silver weave light plates. Actually, I don't even know if I need to do anything with it yet. It's probably just good because it's QSS. So 612. So QSS equals 620 gold? Question mark? That's the question you're asking yourself. The answer is normally yes, because if it makes you survive, then like you can say the Quicksilver Sash allowed me to retain all of my other stats, meaning I'm alive. That's how I look at it, at least. Chempunk Chainsword. Chempunk Chainsword. 15, 15. So I guess we could look at these two items together. They're not really the same. Let's see. They're both roughly 90% efficient. Grievous Wounds equals 200 gold. That's what this is telling us. Grievous Wounds equals 200 gold. And that's interesting because that might actually give us additional information to analyze Thornmail and Ignite. Staff of Flowing Water. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a broken item. Watch out. Watch out. This isn't good. This is bad. 15%. Oh my god. Oh no. We're entering the Ardent Sensor territory again. So this item is broken. Staff of Flowing Water. Right when you purchase it, I must have done something wrong. This is not the way that the item would be built. 60 and 15. Alright, I guess it's just going to be a broken item then. So Staff of Flowing Water starts off at being over 100% efficient. And then it gives 15% move speed to 2 players. So we'll just do the ceiling. So 15% move equals 15 times 2. So it's really 30. So 30 times that. This is so broken. This is the most broken item Riot has ever created. Wow. Plus, because that's not even the entire thing. And 80 plus 80 times that. What is happening? Why would they do this? So this item is worth. This item, if you just made an item that said healing or shielding an ally grants you both 15% movement speed and 20 to 40 ability power for 3 seconds, at level 18, it would just be worth it. That would be a good enough item. but then they give you additional ability power, heal and shield power, and base mana regeneration. So this item is extremely broken. Assuming that you and your teammate can use movement speed and ability power. So I guess the way that they're trying to justify this is that a lot of champions that the support is going to be shielding doesn't take advantage of the ability power. But even if that's the case, the item was already 100% efficient, and if you're only giving movement speed, like, movement speed is something players love in general, even if it's not that great. So it's just mind-blowing. This is a mind-blowing item. They will change this item. They can't let this go to live. Because, like, imagine being, like, a support. You get Staff of Flowing Water, Ardent Censer, you're done building items for the game, and you're, like, the most important, or the most valuable champion in the game. Or one of the most valuable champions in the game. It doesn't say anything about a cooldown. It also doesn't say, like, what happens if you heal and shield multiple allies. Because that's where the Lux and Karma situation comes in, or Soraka. Just a crazy item. Ancient Runestone. This is interesting because they're basically bringing back Sightstone. Ancient Runestone. Yeah, so that's... You're never going to buy this until you have 20 stealth wards placed. And then Ixtali Ward. So I gotta check that. And that's 40. And 10 movement speed. So let's see. So you're paying... That has to be wrong. It has to be like, this has to be an additional 1100 or something. We'll have to see how that goes to live. Updated legendary items. So let's go to Infinity Edge. So this is Infinity Edge before and after the changes. It's roughly the same value. Alright, so they fundamentally changed Infinity Edge. Infinity Edge went from 225% damage on crits to so it'll be gain an additional 8% critical strike damage per 20% critical strike chance. So you will probably get to 100% critical strike chance. So let's do this. So it's 40%. So it's better. It's actually better. So now it's 240%. Once you have 100% critical... Actually, once you have 60% critical strike chance, item is same as before. Once you get 80%, it's better. I think that's how I would look at it personally. And who knows? Maybe it's easier to get critical strike chance. I haven't thought about it. Maybe I've seen an item that should already imply that, but I haven't thought about it yet. Ginsu's versus Ginsu's. So let's go to that. Alright, so it was 3,200 gold versus 3,100 gold. Versus 3,100. So it went from AD and AP to attack speed and critical strike chance. So that's fundamentally changing the item. 25% more attack speed. Attacks deal 40 magic damage on hit per 20% critical strike chance, but can no longer critically strike. That's cool. On hit damage has a gold value as well, so let's do that. Ensues. On hit is equal to 25. Alright. Attacks deal 40 magic damage on hit per 20% critical strike. So this item should read 50% attack speed plus 40 magic damage on hit. So let's see, how much is critical strike chance worth? 40 times 20 is 800. So, so it should really, the new one, it shouldn't be 20 of this, it should be 40 of this. Okay, so minus 950. Negative 150 gold under value. Once you have 40% crit strike, you'll get 80 on hit damage. Yeah, so every 20% critical strike chance is equal to 40 damage on hit. On hit damage is worth more than critical strike chances. That I'll have to think about that deeper, because that could be wrong. I'll have to ask somebody who's like extremely who understands math better than I do. Because that's how I'm reading it, is that you'd be getting 40, so 200, you'd be getting 200 on hit damage, which is equal to 1,000 gold. And if you have 100% criticals, if you have 100% critical strike chance, then you're having 200%. Then you're having 200 on hit damage every auto attack, and then that's just insane because of this as well. So that's even before taking that into consideration. So, once you have 40% critical strike chance, Lord Dominic's regards. 2,800. Alright, so we gotta switch that. Lord Dominic's regards. Okay, so we can just do this the same way we did the other armor pen item, right? Let's see. Okay, so Cyrilda's Grudge. So it's the same thing. Needs to remove. For Lord Dom's. So it's 1,150 under right now. So it needs equals 150 to 20. So in order for Lord Doms to break even, the enemy armor needed to hit break even point against enemies who are lower max health than you. Deal up to 20. Oh, and this is a scaling thing. Okay, so that's not that great. Just trolling on Discord. Sorry about that. Alright, so that's basically it. Enemy needs 191.6 armor. Alright. Essence Reaver. Essence Reaver, 20 ability haste. After using an ability, Essence Reaver. Essence Reaver was better before the change. After using an ability, your next attack deals an additional damage and restores 3% of your max mana. So let's see. The base efficiency was better, but this is actually a much better item now. So Essence Reaver is that's a pretty big buff. Phantom Dancer costs more gold now. Okay, so attacks grant 7% movement speed. Attacking 5 times causes... Wow. Alright. Phantom Dancer. Attacks grant ghosting and 7% movement speed, so it equals 7 times that. And what's the number we need to make up? 824. $267. So attacking 5 times causes spectral waltz. All right. Now we got it. Now we have an okay item. So at its peak, equals 3353.5 divided by 100, 116% efficient with spectral waltz and 40% attack speed. Alright. So that's enough for that one. Gargoyle Stone Plate. One of my most hated items. Oh god, they buffed it. Oh god. They fundamentally changed it and it's been buffed. So now it's a good item. It's expensive, but it's a good item. So let's fix it. Gargoyle Stone Plate. 15 ability haste. Alright, so it's minus 620. Gargoyle Stone Plate. 620. Gain a 100 health shield that decays over 2.5 seconds. So it's basically equals 100 times 100 times 2 points. Let's just click it. 620. So equals 620 divided by that. So once you have 232.5 bonus HP, the shield makes the item break even. Increases your bonus armor and bonus magic resistance by 3% for 6 seconds when a champion deals damage to you. Stacks up to 5 times 1 per enemy. So, okay, God. Increases your bonus armor and bonus magic resistance. So we'll just do equals 60 times 0.03. So this is assuming you don't have any other items. So it's 1.8, so it's 3.6. You get 3.6 armor and MR. I wonder if that rounds up. 3.6 armor and MR per stack. So 684. 684. It's automatically worth it. Okay, never mind. If you're attacked by, if you have the shield, is 260. So if you're attacked by 3 enemies, it's worth it. With additional upside and scaling. So you could theoretically rush this item and not get punished. Spirit Visage. $7.15 undervalued. Wow, why would they change it by like that much? Increases all healing received by 25% and all shielding received by 15%. Increases all healing received by 25. So what if we did equals 15? Equals 15 minus 35. That's not good enough. They'll probably need to buff Spirit Visage. It's just not good. I would say reduce the cost is probably the way to go. Abyssal Mask. They nerfed it. Okay. Immobilizing an enemy champion reduces their armor and magic resistance by 25% for 4 seconds. That's good. So immobilizing an enemy champion. It's interesting because the other team will need to have they will need to have magic damage to justify this, and then they'll also need to have a way to justify this. Reduces their armor and magic resist by 25%. That's really good. This is a great item for front to back team fights. Other team needs AP damage, but I mean it should work against, like, it should work really well as an item. Like it fits a role, and it fits a role that will probably make it very popular. Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart has ability haste. Alright, so they did change it a little bit. Rock Solid, that's funny. Frozen Heart. Reduces the attack speed of nearby enemies by 15%. 15% attack speed is equal to... equals 15 times 25. So that's per enemy. That's per enemy that it has attack speed reduced, and then reduce incoming damage from attacks by up to 7 per 1,000 total health. So reduce incoming damage from attacks by up to 7 per 1,000 total health. So so it's going to be negative on hit. So negative on hit damage. So it's 7, 14, and 21. Probably you're probably not getting to 4,000 or 5,000, but I'll just do it anyways. So equals 7 times 40. So it's a good item. It's a very good item. Capped at 40, so 14 equals 21 divided by 0.4. 52.5. That should be fine. That shouldn't impact it. 1 sec. Alright, so Randuin's Omen is next. Oh. Excuse me. It looks like a slight buff. Briefly slow nearby enemies and reduce their attack damage by 10%. Interesting. So that's probably a nerf to the active. And then this is actually pretty good. Rock Solid's better than I think people are going to think at first. So they need to make up 167 gold, but we already see that that's worth it. So it's at worst 100% item efficient. It means it's a very good item if the other team has important physical damage dealers, which almost every League of Legends team composition has. Titanic Hydra. So we have a slight nerf, so 783 undervalued. 783 undervalued. Gain 1.5% of your total health as bonus attack damage. Huh. Gain 1.5% total health. So bonus attack damage. Okay, so from the 550 health, you gain 288.75 gold efficiency, so it was 550 times 3. So once you hit 1650 health, the item breaks even. So it's a good item. That scales. Ravenous Hydra. I don't know how much Omnivamp is going to be worth. Physical Vamp, Omni Vamp, I don't know how much that's going to be worth, so minus 492. 492 undervalued. How much is Physical Vamp worth? How much is Cleave worth? Alright. Titanic Hydra, Black Cleaver. Let's do this. The Black Cleaver is 100% efficient. Now it is minus 433. Dealing physical damage to an enemy reduces their armor by 4% for 6 seconds. So 433, so equals 433 divided by 20 equals that. 4 equals that divided by 90. So that becomes breaks even when you hit max stacks against a target with 90 armor. And that doesn't even include Squish, which is your attacks and abilities against enemies you've fully shredded. Deals bonus damage equal to 0.5% of their missing health. With a half-second cooldown. That's crazy. That's going to be a ton of damage. Alright. Next up, Sterx. Sterx has always been very difficult to judge based on the numbers that I look at. But it looks like they buffed it a lot. So Sterx is something to watch out for. After dealing or taking damage against an enemy champion, from an enemy champion, restore 3% of your total health over 3 seconds. This stacks and refreshes per unique champion up to 5 times. Upon taking damage, it reduces. And you get lifeline, so that's good. So 283. So minus 283. it's good. It's good enough. That's a good item now. Because then you can ask yourself, is Rage worth 283 gold? Is Lifeline worth 283 gold? And the answer is probably yes. Probably yes. Death's Dance. Death's Dance was fundamentally changed. Not fundamentally changed. Death's Dance PBE 15. So let's see what that does. Minus 150. So ignore, game and divide. 35% of physical damage taken is dealt over 3 seconds instead. So that is kind of helpful, but not necessarily worth 150 gold. Champion takedowns grant you 30% movement speed. Cleanse, ignore pain's remaining damage, and heal you for 20% of your total health over the duration. That's really good. That's very interesting. So I think that stance is still a good item. Doesn't have MR, but very cool. Very, very nice design, in my opinion. So Wit's End. This will be a cool one to look at. Wit's End. Wit's End. So it lost a lot of its base value because they increased the cost. Let's see what they really changed though. So 50. So it's 20%. No, Wit's End. 10% less attack speed. 10 less magic damage. Plus 40 attack damage. Your basic attacks. So let's see. It's already a break even, which is good. So we'll do attack speed, MR, move speed, on hit, healing. Flat for 2 seconds on hit. So that's the same. The attack speed is 50 to 40. Attack damage is 40 to 0. MR is 50 to 40. Move speed is 5% to nothing. So it's interesting. Like, Wit's End was a very broken item. Now it's going to be less good. It's not going to be as good on melee champions because they've got rid of the healing aspect of it. Still a good item though. Moving on, Blade of the Ruined King. So it's a buff at first glance. The attack damage is the same, 5% increase in attack speed, 5% increase in attack speed, 3% increase in lifesteal. Attacks deal additional damage equal to 10% of the target's current health on hit. That used to be 12%. Attacking a champion 3 times steals 25% move speed for 2 seconds. So they got rid of the active. It's probably a buff overall. It's much easier to use. Probably a buff for the average player. And the cooldown is 20 seconds instead of 90 seconds for the move speed, which is nice. It's not as good at shredding tanks, but there are other tank shredding options in the item changes. Let's go to Zeke's. Actually, was Blade 100%? 94, 188, and it's obviously worth it. Zeke's Convergence. So we have to change the ability haste. So it's minus 117. It costs a little bit more as well. When you immobilize an enemy, for the next 4 seconds, your accomplice's attacks and spells deal bonus magic damage to that enemy once per attack or spell per enemy. That seems like a buff overall. It's easier to play around than the current Zeke's. Yeah. Yeah. It's much easier to play around, which is a good thing. You need to have immobilized though. Knight's Vow. Knight's Vow. JJK, Knight's Vow. And ability haste. While your worthy ally is nearby, redirect 15% of the damage they take to you. Gain 35% move speed while moving towards them. I mean, that's worth it because you're taking damage away from your 80 carry. So it's not a ceiling item. So we shouldn't try to judge it as a ceiling item. Mikhail's Blessing against Mikhail's Crucible. 15 ability haste. So it's a slight buff. Let's see if I'm missing anything. So you don't get Harmony, which is fine. It's basically the same item. Actually, it's 30% heal and shield power as opposed to 20, 15 ability haste compared to 10% CDR. You get a little bit more base mana regeneration because you're not getting Harmony, and then you get health. So it's good. Mortal Reminder. So Mortal Reminder is... That's interesting. Wait, where was the Grievous Wounds items? Grievous Wounds. Chemtech. Grievous Wounds equals 200 gold. So it's less efficient than the Chemtech items for getting Grievous Wounds. So why would you build this item? Chemtech. I'll probably make a separate video about that. Thornmail. Another Grievous Wounds item. When struck by an enemy, deal magic damage back to them, and so it is on hit damage. It's just when they hit, you deal damage, and apply 40 per second. 40% grievous wounds for 2 seconds if they are a champion. Immobilizing enemy champions also applies 60% grievous wounds for 2 seconds. So that's good because this way you have a proactive way of applying the grievous wounds. So the on-hit damage of 567. So Thorn Mail negative 567 is equal to 567 divided by 40. So 14 on hit. So break even points at 10% bonus armor. So at 40 bonus armor from the reflective damage plus 200 gold as plus 200 gold because of grievous effect. So that's good. I think that's better than what it used to be. Yeah, it should be better than what it used to be, I think. Morellonomicon, everybody's favorite. So all we gotta look at is this. Morellonomicon went from minus 211 to minus 311. So it is much cheaper now. Nomicon, 2,500 gold, 200 gold because of Grievous. So negative 100 gold. It should be like negative 100 gold, I think. At its peak, Morellonomicon is negative 100 gold unless the value of Grievous Wounds is different. A different value. Muramana, one of my favorite items. So we'll just do that. Plus 275, and it gets better. Let's make sure that nothing else really changed. Gain 3% maximum. Grants. This is much better now. Gain 3% of your maximum mana as attack damage. It used to be bonus attack damage, which I think that does change things. It used to be 3%. It used to be 2%. Now it's 3%. It doesn't refund mana that you spend on abilities, and shock. Consume 3%. It doesn't consume. It doesn't consume mana anymore, but it's 5% instead of 6%. That's a buff overall. So that's a buff. Seraphs. So it doesn't have Seraph's Embrace. Minus 410. Grants ability power equal to 3% maximum mana. So Awe has stayed the same. They got rid of the shield. That's not good. They got rid of the haste. No more CDR. So no CDR. No shield. Increases max mana, which isn't as good. Increase your max mana by 5%. So I guess the Awe and Empyrean kind of go with each other. I'd have to look more at the numbers. That seems like it'll be more involved and kind of annoying. Then they started removing items. I'll do a separate video on that. Removed legendary items. That's fine. These are all the items that are going to probably stay close to the same. Alright, so that's basically what I wanted to accomplish in this video. Thanks for watching. I know it's a long video, but for those of you who are interested in like the behind the scenes stuff, for like the item analysis, I hope this was enjoyable for you. I'll have some shorter videos that go into like specific item comparisons, hopefully in the future. But thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.